Hi, Rob Bryanton, and this is the Imagining the 10th Dimension video blog entry for June 4th, 2008. If you'd like to read along with it, please go to 10thdimension.com/blog. Today's entry is called Are Animals and Kids More Fifth Dimensional? And the video we're watching in behind here is the song that we're going to be watching at the end of the video blog entry. A song, one of the 26 songs I wrote for this project, and this a video created by Ron Scott for it the song is called Automatic. And the blog entry goes like this. In blog entries like being more fifth dimensional and death, I've made the suggestion that dogs could be more tuned into the probability space of the future than we are because of a more well-developed sense of smell and hearing. This is what makes them great guardians and sentries, and is no doubt a very good reason why humans have liked having dogs around for at least the past 10,000 years. But many of us, I believe, have seen evidence that dogs and other animals are more tuned in to what others are thinking, and sometimes to events that might be coming, in ways that are about much more than just having better sniffers than we do. In my book, I spoke briefly about Rupert Sheldrake and his concept of morphic resonance, an idea that is quite easy to integrate into the ideas I've promoted here. If, as quantum physicists say, reality is ultimately just information, then patterns that connect across the fifth dimension and above could easily be part of non-locality, entanglement, empathy, prescience, and yes, dogs that know when their owners are coming home, which is my favorite Rupert Sheldrake book. In another book I've talked about a lot lately, Conversations on the Edge of the Apocalypse, Sheldrake describes a parrot with remarkable powers. This is quoting from the interview in Conversations on the Edge of the Apocalypse with Rupert Sheldrake. The parrot Nkisi, belonging to Amy Morgana in New York, turns out to be one of the most remarkable animals in the world. He's an African grey that now has a vocabulary of more than 950 words, which is a world record, and he speaks in sentences. So this is a completely astonishing situation of an animal that talks and uses language in a meaningful way, better than chimps or gorillas that have been taught to use language through American Sign Language. Most amazing of all is that he picks up what his owner's thinking telepathically and comments on her thoughts and intentions and even on her dreams. We set up a whole series of controlled tests to see if he could really pick up what she was thinking. In those tests, we filmed the parrot continuously in one room and the owner was in another room with all the doors closed on another floor of the house, so there was no sound transmission possible. She looked at a series of photographs that she hadn't seen before, which were in sealed, randomized envelopes. In each trial, she was filmed as she opened an envelope and looked at the picture in it for 2 minutes. She didn't say anything. Then we had an independent transcription done of what the parrot said. 3 independent people transcribed the parrot's comments, blind, not knowing what was going on. We then saw whether the words the parrot said matched the picture the owner was looking at. In some tests, the parrot didn't say anything. But when he did, we could see if the words corresponded. And in an astonishingly significant way, they did. In some trials, for example, she was looking at a picture of a man on a phone and the parrot said, "What you doing on the phone?" In other trials, she was looking at pictures of flowers and the parrot said, "Those are flowers. It's a pic of flowers." So that was from the book by David J. Brown called Conversations on the Edge of the Apocalypse, an interview with Rupert Sheldrake. Getting back to my blog now. The constantly nattering narrator voice in my book and past blogs, I've talked about the Julian Jaynes bicameral mind theory, which suggests that the normal mode of operation for human beings up until a few thousand years ago was not to be operating with a narrator voice that says, "Now I am walking, now I am driving," and so on, and that the older, more integrated mode of operation can actually be advantageous to us when we return to it. It's much harder to hit a ball or play a violin or drive a car if we're thinking about every little action. Complicated activities like these are more easy to perform if we can find a way to just be. Is it also possible that kids operate in this integrated mode more easily until constant reminders from the adults around them to pay attention and stop daydreaming trains them out of it? That's what I'm proposing. Julian Jaynes introduced his theories to the world with his book, The Origin of Consciousness in the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind. And my song, Automatic, is about this bicameral mind theory and the conclusion we can draw from the above. Being more bicameral is being more integrated, less fractured. Quieting our narrator voice allows us to do more. despite the influence of Western culture, which has trained us to be suspicious of those moments when they happen. I believe this ties nicely to the quote from Nobel Prize winner Kary Mullis, referred to in my last blog entry. This is about being more tuned in to the parts of you that are spread across time, which, according to this way of visualizing reality, is being more fifth dimensional. The amazing now that each of us is in from moment to moment is always coming from this probability space of the fifth dimension. This means that the possibilities available to us are always much more diverse than what might seem to be if we are convinced that we are merely traveling down a straight and limited fourth dimensional line of time. Does that make the fifth dimension a dangerous idea? Well, even though this doesn't mean that the fifth dimension is some kind of magic, some would say it does. We're going to finish today's video blog entry by watching that song. It's called Automatic from Rob Bryanson. Enjoy the journey. Must have been running on automatic. I simply can't recall. How did I get here? What was I doing? No clue at all. Lost my place in the conversation. What were we talking about? Thought I was here. Must have been dreaming without a doubt. Automatic. 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 Must have been running on automatic. What was for breakfast just this morning? I really couldn't say. Out there circling another planet, so far away. Where was my head at? Was I driving? Not even seeing the road. Was I only going through the motions? Don't even know. Automatic. 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 Must have been running on automatic. Julian Jaynes showed me he had the answer in the bicameral mind. Consciousness broken down into pieces. Oh, what a find. We've all been running on automatic since we were back in the trees. But still we made it here on automatic. How can it be? Automatic. 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 Must have been running on automatic. Something beautiful and complicated. Does it ever seem strange? How could we do that on automatic? Hard to explain. Automatic. 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 Must have been running